Hi Eric.
Hello, how are you doing, Nathan?
Thanks for helping my project.
I'd be happy to.
Did you know that NASA's planning to send astronauts back to the moon?
I've been hoping that for 50 years now.
Did you get to see the first moon landing?
Yes, I did. I was 6 years old and I still remember it well. I grew up in the middle of the Apollo program. My father was a systems engineer for Philco Ford and for Singer Link, and he worked on the original Apollo lunar module simulator. And in fact, one time he took me in there for a dry run, started it up, and I'm looking at all the dials and gauges and everything, and wait a second, we're landing on the moon. We're not supposed to be able to do that this quick. But I followed all the landings. The first mission that I really remember was Apollo 7, when my father took me out into the backyard and showed me the capsule going over in orbit. But I followed all the rest of them. I did watch Neil Armstrong's first small step. I was there at about 9 o'clock at night when my father got a phone call about Apollo 13 and rushed out the door to work. And we didn't see him again for 3 days.
Wow.
And then I was there for the other ones, including the last night launch. I stayed up through the delays to watch Apollo 17 launch. And I really couldn't understand why that was the last one.
When did you think we go back?
What's the name of the order?
Eric?
Eric? Yeah.
It's for Lance.
Ah.
Let's see. So we tried to go back to the moon multiple times. I think Bush Jr., Senior talked about it. Bush Jr. talked about it. Do you have any higher hopes that we'll actually get there this time?
My concern has been that every time it seems that the new incoming administration says, "Not my project," and starts again from ground zero. And so we keep taking one step forward and sliding back two. I really look more to the private side of things, such as we see now with SpaceX and others. I mentioned I've been actually the president of the Houston area of the chapter, the Clear Lake area chapter. Excuse me. No disrespect to North Houston, but the Moon Society in Houston had gone moribund until I finally got with Peter Koch in 2008 and got the old mailing list and sent out a mailing and got a number of people there at the library off of Park Place. We had a meeting and voted to reconstitute the chapter. And I'd said at the time, the way I look at it is, I'm just pulling a figure out of the air here. This is not a cost thing, but let's just say that it would cost $100 billion to set up a spacefaring society with people living, working, and producing on orbit and on the moon and on the planets. Just $100 billion and you can have that. And let's just say that right now, as far as what we could get on return, as far as space tourism or products produced or whatever, would be like $2 billion. Well, the 100 billion figure is never going to go up except with inflation. It can only go down as we get more efficient, as we get more productive, and as we learn how to do things better, faster, and cheaper. The 2 billion figure will never go down. It will only go up as we learn to do more things in space. And so someday, those two lines will intersect. And when they do, that's when we go back to space to stay.
And in terms of the reducing the cost, I mean, it seems like SpaceX and Starship is a big...
They are doing very good work, and I'm glad to see that.
Where do you see humanity in 200 years?
Well, assuming we haven't done anything completely stupid like let out a killer virus, um, it's really going to depend, I think, upon our moral character. Because if we can return to the same type of character that was evinced at the founding of this country, when people thought of what was best for the nation as a whole, and of what the right thing to do, even if it cost them their lives, their fortune, and their sacred honor, I see no limit for where we could be. But if we continue on with the mindset that I've seen too much of in the last 50 years, where people are just concerned about me getting mine and I don't care what it does to anybody else, we probably will let a killer virus loose, and that will probably be the kindest thing that could happen to us.
Would you take a trip to space if you could?
Yes, I would.
How far would you go?
I have no strong ties to Earth. I'd be willing to go out as far as I could, and I would not need to have an assurance of return. I would want to have a hope of either return or of being able to establish and maintain a colony, but it's like the painting of the Mayflower sailing back to the United Kingdom, to England. Someday, somebody's going to have to stand on that shore and watch it.
Yeah, that's true. So like 200 years from now, imagine a high schooler doing a history project about the 2020s. So
Yes.
on the other side of that 2020, 200-year thing, what do you think will be worth remembering about this decade in 200 years?
Next question.
That's pretty much it. Eric, thank you so much. I know we talked about a lot. Is there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to?
Not at this time, but thank you, and I wish all the best. And I believe, again, if we return back to the principles that this nation and the better principles that those people throughout history have held to, there is no limit to the upside. But if we just continue to be every man for ourselves, there's no limit to the downside.
That's true. Well, thank you so much.